Hello and welcome to my 12th Diary Room podcast. Today's special guest is my dear friend Big Joe Egan. By the age of 24, Joe had had over 80 boxing wins, 7 Irish heavyweight champion titles and the Golden Gloves Championship. He's a former sparring partner to Iron Mike Tyson and went the distance with Lennox Lewis. Both legends went on to become the undisputed heavyweight champions of the world. However, either of them could knock out Big Joe. Joe's gone from being bullied at school to a professional boxer, a barman to almost being broke, turning his life around from a world of guns and gangs to starring in Hollywood blockbuster movies such as Sherlock Holmes. Well, it's not hard to see why the Gypsy King's dad, John Fury, doesn't want to step into the ring with Big Joe, especially after the ferocious Mike Tyson described him as being the toughest white man on the planet. Joe, welcome to our house, mate.
Oh, great, thanks very much.
How does someone from being bullied at school become the toughest white man on the planet?
Craig, I'm far from the toughest white man on the planet, but it's a beautiful compliment from a man like Mike Tyson. I got to share the ring with Mike Tyson. I got to share the ring with Lennox Lewis. They achieved what I dreamed of achieving. They became champion of the world. Every fighter that climbs into the ring dreams about becoming a champion of the world. I wasn't good enough. Nowhere near good enough. I won 7 Irish titles, which was a major achievement for me.
Yeah.
To win 1 Irish title was a major achievement. But the reason I started boxing was because I got bullied as a child. My dad, like a lot of the Irish, came to the UK to work. Ireland's greatest export has always been its people. And he came to the UK to work, and we used to come over to visit him as kids. I got 4 younger sisters and 2 younger brothers. I'm the eldest of 7.
Big family of 7, isn't it?
Yeah, the Irish families are always big, and Liverpool, second capital of Ireland. You know, there's a big Irish expat community here in Liverpool. I got cousins. My grandmother's sister, so my grand aunt, she lived in Kirby, and I got family in Liverpool. But I think all the Irish have family in Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when we came to the UK to visit my dad, me and my brothers and sisters, I got bullied in the UK because I had the Irish accent. On the day I made my Holy Communion in Manchester, I got my 2 front teeth knocked out. The 2 bully boys. Yeah, the 2 bully boys.
What, 7 or 8 years of age was
7 or 8 years of age, I tried to take my Holy Communion medal, held onto my Holy Communion medal, and they knocked out my 2 front teeth. All my years boxing, only ever 1 tooth knocked out. But I got bullied because I had the Irish accent. And
how was that making you feel then as a young
well,
age?
it was horrible, you know, it was horrible
here.
because, you know, no child should get bullied. But it happens in adult life as well. People think it just happens to children. It happens in adult life as well. But what I did was I picked up the English accent to try and mix in. And then when I went home to Dublin, I got bullied in Dublin because I had the English accent.
You couldn't win
So,
either
no,
way.
you can't win. Not with what was happening to us as children. You know,
Was it tough growing up then?
It
in
was
your
very
family?
hard
Tough
because
for your mum and dad having 7 children as well to
yeah,
look
well,
after.
my dad worked away for 11 months of the year, so we might only get to see him for 1 month of the year. But he was a good provider. He would ship the money home. We never went hungry, but we never had the luxuries of chocolate biscuits or things like that. You know, when you're feeding 8 people, 7 children, and my mum, you know, you got to try and make ends meet with us. My mum could make a feast out of nothing. You know, she was incredible. She used to have the beans, and we grew up staple diet was potato and beans, and she could do wonders with beans. She was doing curry beans long before Heinz was doing curry beans. You know, and with 7 of us eating beans and her eating beans as well, you wouldn't want to light a match in our house. There's that much farting going on in the house. But yeah,
What's your proudest memory with your mum and dad then?
All I ever wanted to do in life was to make them proud, to tell you the truth. My dad wanted me to box. No mother wants to see her son box. No mother wants to see her son getting hit or getting hurt. And I got hit and hurt many times in my boxing career. But winning my Irish titles for my dad, that was probably...
I bet he was proud then.
Oh, proudest punch. Proudest punch. I could see the joy. I was proud as well, you know, being Irish champion. And to do it 7 times. And then with the acting, that made my mum proud. You know, the acting made my mum proud. But I just want to clarify something with Mike Tyson. I sparred Mike for nearly 2 years, and there was black guys and white guys. In this particular day, there was 4 white sparring partners. He knocked 3 of the white sparring partners. I was number 4. I got battered from pillar to post, Craig, but he never put me down. And at the end of the spar, Mike said, Joe Egan is the toughest white man on the planet. Far from it. I was the toughest white man in the gym that day. What a compliment from Mike.
What a compliment.
But listen, if you're going to
He's
get
qualified enough to say that, isn't he?
If you're going to get battered, you might as well get battered by the best. I got battered by Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis. But it was an honour and a privilege to share the ring with the 2 greatest heavyweights of my era and maybe 2 of the greatest heavyweights of all time.
So you said earlier then, you know, you grew up to want to aspire to getting where they've got as becoming heavyweight champion of the world. I'm sure that's every boxer's dream as they're building up the ranks.
Yeah.
So 2 years, you're there every day getting pounded by Mike Tyson. I can't even imagine what that feels like. And historically, we know you were never knocked out by him. You weren't knocked down by him.
No, I was knocked out by him.
Oh, you were knocked out by him?
I was knocked out by him many, many times.
Yeah.
He had me so, my head was gone.
Rattling.
But I'd hold on.
Yeah.
I was never knocked down.
Because you're bigger and taller than him, aren't you?
I was never knocked down by him.
Okay, yeah.
You know, but
right.
I've been...
So he knocked you out and you were still standing on your
still
feet?
Still standing,
to
holding on.
Wow.
He wouldn't have got me off with a crowbar. I was holding on that time. Because the longer I stayed on my feet with Mike, the more money I earned. And the more money I earned helped shape my brothers and sisters' lives.
Right,
I used to ship the money home. Me and Mike would make a trip into Manhattan once a month to 50th and 5th to Manhattan, Bank of Ireland. It cost me $15 and I'd ship the money home. You couldn't spend the money in the Catskills. Rip Van Winkle is supposed to have slept in the Catskills for 40 years. It was very tranquil, very peaceful, very wonderful. It wasn't so peaceful in the boxing ring when Mike was hitting me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But other than that, outside of the ring, it was so beautiful, so wonderful. Cuss and Manny and Camille.
Because people heard about the Catskills
Mountains. It was beautiful, up on the Hudson River. Up on
all that area.
It's stunning.
What was it like then? You know, Customado, obviously legendary. And
incredible. But what we used to do, me and Mike would ship the money. I'd ship the money home once a month. And like I said earlier, the money helped shape my brothers and sisters' lives. Yeah. One sister went to America. She's out there nearly 40 years now. She married a policeman in New York. He's retired now. They're living in North Carolina. They live in a place called Apex. They live on Apex Boulevard Road. It's a beautiful name for a road. And she's got a wonderful life. They've got their 2 children, Tom and Lucia. Tom's over here in the UK. And Lucia's gone to college now in California.
Amazing.
So they've had a wonderful life from me bringing my sister to America.
Yeah, brilliant.
And my brother then, he went into the milk business. I got him his first milk flow. He's now got 4. My other sister went through university, became a chartered accountant. And like I said, the money that I earned with Mike would ship home. Yeah. You know, but the Irish people have always done that. We've always gone abroad and work and sent it home. So if I'd have been knocked down, that might have been the end of it. So I stayed on my feet.
Because you told me that story, you know, I asked you what the first day you got there. At this point, Mike wasn't the heavyweight champion.
Nowhere near. We were 17. We were kids.
Building up to it, wasn't
we were kids.
Am I right in saying Mike's still the youngest
20 years of age
heavyweight champion in the world?
And he took the title from Floyd Patterson.
Baber?
No, Floyd Patterson.
Oh, Floyd Patterson.
The youngest title.
Yes,
because Floyd held the title. He won the belt from Trevor Berbick.
Trevor Berbick, yes.
But the title as the youngest ever heavyweight champion of the world was previously held by Floyd Patterson, who coincidentally was managed by Cuss.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Floyd, Jose Torres and Mike Tyson were Cuss's 3 champions of the world. Wow. And Floyd was the youngest ever heavyweight champion until Mike took the title. But he won the title as the heavyweight champion of the world of Trevor Berbick.
That's right,
you know, and he gave Berbick...
second round, knockdown. He couldn't even get back up.
His legs were gone. His equilibrium's gone. You know, there's a lot of parts of the body where you can hit somebody, and people that tell you the punches don't hurt are telling lies. All the punches hurt, right? Sometimes the knockout punch you might not feel.
Yeah, because you're asleep.
Yeah, I was put asleep in one particular fight. I'll tell you that quick story, Craig. Right? My dad used to call me for my runs in the morning when he was home. He'd want to be such an integral part of our lives because I just wanted to make him proud. But when he was home from working abroad, he would try to be in our lives every minute of every day, you know, for brothers and sisters, because he would try to make up for the months he was away. So he used to call me for my runs in the morning, and I didn't want to get out of bed, dragging myself out of bed. He used to say, he's like dragging yourself off the deck when you get put down. Oh, this is different stages of my young teenage years. And I said, Dad, I don't want to go running this morning. Drag yourself out of bed, son.
So he was the more one disciplining
you. Yeah. He said, drag yourself out of bed. He says, like dragging yourself off the deck when you get decked. I said, Dad, no one's going to deck me, even as a young boy. You know, the first fight I ever had was 11, and I got battered by Steve Collins.
Steve Collins,
who went on to win 2 world
title fights.
He beat me. He was 12 and a half. I was 11. So I took a beating from Steve Collins, but I stayed on my feet and I took the beating. But I think years of getting battered by the bullies has sort of toughened me up.
Mentally stronger as well as physically.
Toughened me up because, you know, with the bullies you'd be getting battered by maybe a gang of them with sticks and whatever else they'd hit you with. In the boxing ring, there's only one man hitting you, you know, and even if it was Mike Tyson or Lennox Lewis or Steve Collins or Bruce Seldon, these other champions of the world I fought, it's still only one man.
You won Bruce, didn't you?
I beat
you
Bruce, he went on to win the world. Bruce Seldon went on to win the world heavyweight title. I beat him in Atlantic City. But Dad used to call me, he's like, come on son, drag yourself out of bed. It's like dragging yourself off the deck when you get decked. Now, I never thought I could get decked. I thought my legs are strong, my chin's granite. I said, no one's going to deck me.
It's the right attitude you've got to have being a boxer, haven't you?
Yeah, but I did get decked. I know. But I boxed in the Acropolis Games 1987. I beat an Italian, beat a Canadian. And then my left eye was badly damaged, Craig, and I shouldn't have really passed the medical. But my heart ruled my head. And my corner men, Mickey Hawkins and Jerry Hanna, they said, Joe, you can't fight. I said, I'm in the semi-finals. If I win, I'm into the finals. The worst I've got is a silver medal. So I said, let the doctor tell me I can't fight. So I went in, squinted my eye. The Greek who'd got a bye in his first fight, had won his second fight, and now was into the semi-finals. If they'd given him a bye, he would have been into the final. Where he ended up fighting the Dutchman, Van der Leyden. I think he won 2 Olympic bronze medals. So the doctor didn't even look at my face. He put a stethoscope on my chest, heartbeat's fine, fit to fight, pushed me out the door. And I was just so happy to hear fit to fight. And I went out and said, doctor said I can fight. I knew I only had one round in me before my eye completely closed. And I went out, all guns blazing in round 1. I was never a big puncher, Craig. And this man was a tank, Georgios Stephanopoulos. When he put me down, the lads on the team were calling him Georgios Step on top of us, because his name was Stephanopoulos. But he caught me in the second round. I didn't see the punch coming. It wasn't the hardest punch I've ever been hit. It wasn't the best punch I've ever been hit. I've been hit by better and I've been hit by harder, but I didn't see it coming. And suddenly I'm on the deck. I don't know this. I'm knocked out. And I'm lying on my back and I'm going like this. And I'm looking for my bed sheets. I'm asleep. I was crazy.
Is that where your mind was at that split
second? I was in bed. Wow. I'm lying on my back. So from the time he hit me on the chin to the time I fell, flat on my back, looking for my bed sheets, 15 seconds at least, right? Because when I did turn over onto my side with this eye closed and this eye open, I saw if we go 5. So I went, I'm on the deck here. Oh my God.
I'm on the canvas,
yeah. I dragged myself to my feet. At that stage, my 2 corner men were in the ring because they thought I was calling them into the ring. I wasn't. I was trying to find my bed sheets. I was asleep in bed. But I got beaten on my feet. I got to my feet.
What was once you realised that you're getting a counter, you're not actually comfortable in your bed, what's going through your mind then to get you up?
Pride. You want to get to your feet. You want to get to your feet. You're a proud person. Any man or woman that climbs into that ring is full of pride. It's not ego. No. It's not ego. It's pride.
It's a lonely place, you know? In the ring.
And
I've been in it.
You want to hear that final bell. That's all you want to hear. Every fight is pride. There's a poem. I don't know what the poem's called. Stand up and fight until you hear the bell. Stand up and fight. Fight like hell. You want to hear that final bell because you have pride. You know, and that's all I wanted to do was hear the final bell. There's a few of my fights I didn't hear the final bell. I was stopped for one reason or another, cuts and punishment. But that particular time when I got to my feet, my 2 corner men were in the ring and they held me, they embraced me. I've lost. But I lost to the eventual gold medalist. And there was no shame. I got a bronze medal. I remember phoning my dad. I said, Dad, I've won a bronze.
How old were you at this point then?
It was 1987. I don't even know how old I was. 22? 20, I can't even remember. I know I was young because I went pro. 21 I think I was. I went pro in 1990 when I was 24. So 1987, 21. 21. But I'd been boxing men from when I was 17. You know, I'd worked the doors when I was 15. I left school when I was 14, Craig. So I was on the doors of nightclubs from when I was 15 years of age. And I've had some great times in my life. I've had some hard times in my life. But I tell people, if you look at a heart monitor in a hospital bed, I've been on a life support machine. I've been in a coma for 3 days, 5 days in intensive care in North Carolina. So I know, it was the first place they ever had an intensive care, an ICU unit. So I know about heart monitors. Because I've had a run-in a few times with the Grim Reaper. I've been shot a few times, been stabbed a few times, and I've been in a lot of action. Like I said earlier, the boxing ring was probably a safe place for me. But when you look at a heart monitor, it beats and it goes up and beats and it goes down, beats and it goes up. That's like life. We have peaks and troughs in life. You know, we have highs and lows. I'm not talking drugs. I've never took drugs in my life, so I'm not talking drugs. But you've got to experience the lows in life to appreciate the highs in life.
Absolutely.
And we all have them. When it flatlines, sadly we're dead. You know, but I believe there's a better life than this where we go to.
Sure.
I'm not a Bible thumper. I believe in God. I believe in heaven. Right. And we have to believe. Because I'd say to people, I'm not forcing my beliefs on you. But see, when the shit hits the fan, and it does hit the fan for us all at some stage of our life, what's the first thing we say? God help us.
Pray to God.
God help us. And I've said it many, many times. God help me. And God help those around me. You know. And we have to believe. And sometimes when I was boxing, it got me through. Do you understand? My belief got me through.
So when you go back to, you've lost a fight, you've been picked up from it. How do you pick yourself up from that? Do you feel religion's helped in any way there?
Yeah, there's a lot of things in life, you know, that have helped. I believe in the power of prayer. I do believe that. I say my prayers every day. I believe he made the world. Your house is as good as a church if you're going to pray. Respect others, respect yourself. And I believe that's what boxing done for me as well.
Give you
boxing,
respect.
Yes, boxing first and foremost teaches you respect and respect for other people, your opponent in particular. And I think it's a very important thing to have in life. Self-respect and respect for others. And in my beliefs, I'm a Catholic, I believe in God, and I respect all religions, whether it be Sikhism, Jews, Muslims. I respect all cultures. Yes, you know, there's only one God. You can call him Allah, call him Buddha, call him God, as long as you respect him in the right way and respect others. And I believe boxing, in particular, is the greatest sport in the world. Maybe I'm biased because I'm an ex-fighter, but all sports gives you the confidence to get in, whether it be on the mat, whether it be on the cage, whether it be in the boxing ring to fight, or whether it be on the soccer pitch to play, or whether it be on the running track to run or throw spears, javelins and hammers. It gives you the confidence to do them things, so that helps you in life. You know, so I encourage youth to do sport.
I do, yes.
Oh, it's a big part of life. It's a big part of growing up. You know, and if you
for the mental state, the physical abilities, for the discipline, respect, everything, it should be there.
I encourage youth to do sports.
Do you think schools are promoting enough to do sports nowadays?
Nowhere near enough. Nowhere near enough.
Neither.
Nowhere near enough, because the schools have banned the boxing, right? They've banned the boxing, which is ridiculous. Because they say it breeds, this is the rubbish they're talking about, it breeds aggression. No, it doesn't. Boxing doesn't breed aggression. If anything, it curbs aggression.
We live in an aggressive world.
Boxing curbs aggression.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got an anger and you've got an issue, and we all have angers and we all have issues, you take it out of a punch bag. You take that aggression out of a punch bag. Then you do the pad work. You take it out on the pads. And then if your trainers feel that you're fit enough or capable enough to put you in the spar, and you're going to get hit back. You know, because you cannot get into a boxing ring and not get hit. Even Floyd Mayweather got hit. You know,
and he was a master at not being hit.
Muhammad Ali got hit.
The old
did. Understand? It's part and parcel of the sport. At some stage of a sparring session or at some stage of a fight, you're going to get hit. And I think that is a very important part of life. You know,
you told me a nice story once, that when you were in the Catskills Mountains there with Tyson, and you know, you'd had a heavy sparring day on there one particular day, and he'd hurt you so much from body blows, you were literally peeing blood. You were lying in bed in tears.
I've weed blood many times.
And Mike heard you crying, didn't he? And come in to see if you were okay. What happened?
That particular day, Sugar Ray Leonard was in the camp.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ray Leonard visited on 2 occasions when I was there. Ray was friends with Cuss and big fan of Mike's. Mike is a big fan of his because both of them have visited my mother in Dublin.
I believe so.
It's all on video. You can see it on the internet. And when Mike came to visit my mum, it was after 22 years speaking on the phone, Craig. And she had a lump removed from my neck. And this particular day, Mike said, "How's my mother doing, Joe?" I said, "Not so good, Mike. She's not so good." I said, "We're concerned about it being cancer." Blessings of God, it wasn't. My Uncle Brian had died of cancer, 47. My mum was a heavy smoker. And we went to visit my mum in Dublin. Hysteria, Dublin Airport. It was crazy.
I've seen the videos of it.
Unbelievable.
In your book as well, don't
it was unbelievable. But he visited my mum. She was in my auntie's house, my auntie Linda. And went into the house in the estate, went into the house, and Mike embraced my mother. This is a man who can break bones with punches. Embracing a fragile woman. And it was me, my wife, which was my fiancée at the time, Ruth, and it's my wife now. And Scott Welch, who went British and Commonwealth champion, went on to fight for the world title. against Henry Akamwande. He went 12 rounds with Akamwande. That's the man that knocked out Fury. We'll get on to that in a bit. But so Mike and my mum got talking about birthdays. And my mum's birthday was the 12th of July, Mike's the 30th of June, and they're both of the same birth sign, Cancer. And he said, Miss Egan, he said, I remember on my 18th birthday, because we were together.
Is that how he addressed your mum, Miss Egan, did he?
Egan, yeah. Lovely. And he said, I remember on my 18th birthday, we were together when we were 17, and he said, you sent over a shoebox with potato chips, Irish potato crisps.
Your mum had sent over to you?
For Mike's 18th birthday. So he'd been speaking on the phone, and he said his birthday was coming up, so he sent over a shoebox with some Irish potato crisps, some money in an envelope, would have been very little money, and some sweatshirts, would have been second-hand sweatshirts. And that was 22 years previous. Yeah. And my mum said to Mike, you remember that, Mike? He said, yes, Mrs. Egan. He said, very few people have given me anything in my life. Yes, I remember it.
That doesn't want something back from him, yeah.
Mike was standing there, very, very emotional. Scott Welch got choked up, my wife got choked up, Ruth, and they had to leave the room. I broke down crying, Craig. He made me cry so many times, he battered me so many times, and he made me cry so many times. And he looked at me, he goes, Joe, excuse the language, he goes, Joe, motherfucker, you're always crying. And he embraced me and my mum, and I just thought to myself, a man like him, that could have been a billionaire athlete, remembered a couple of packets of crisps, a couple of pounds in an envelope.
He remembered that from 22
years previous, yeah. So the next year when Sugar Ray Leonard visited my mum, and my mum was telling him, Mike was here last year, and Ray got so excited. Mike was here and everything, because they do adore each other. Yeah. But I remember when Ray came to the Catskills first, Mike, he destroyed his sparring partners this particular day. Ray was there, destroyed us. He wanted to impress Ray Leonard, one of the greatest boxers to ever grace a boxing ring. And then 6 months later, several months later, Ray came again. And I was still there. Okay. And we're in the gym, and Ray remembered me from the last time he was there. Okay. He didn't come back to the house that particular day. He headed off to wherever he was heading off. I think he was on a bit of a whirlwind tour. But this time he was coming back to the house, have some food and stop over. So he got chatting to me, and he said, you were here the last time I was here. He said, I remember. He said, you're a very brave young man to come back. And I said, no, I haven't come back. I've been here. He said, you've been taking this. I haven't been home. He said, you've been taking this. I said, yeah, most days. I said, one of these days I might get the better of him. And we laughed. And I said, Ray, would you mind would you say hello to my mother? Is your mother here? I said, no, she's in Ireland, but Cuss allows us to make the phone calls. So I phoned my mum. I said, Mum, Sugar Ray Leonard wants to say hello to you. And he said hello to her and spoke to her on the phone. And I said, one day, Ray, you might visit my mum. Like I said to Mike, one day you might visit my mum. And they both did. They both did. Yeah. And
you must have felt proud then.
Proud as punch.
Yeah, I've seen some of the video content of that, of Mike turning up in a helicopter and literally Dublin airport.
Incredible.
Everything was coming to a standstill, because at that point he was 2 times undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
He was incredible. His achievements in boxing, incredible. As a young age, like I said, we were sparring when we were 17, and I knew then I'm training with the future heavyweight champion of the world.
I would probably say Mike is probably up there in the top 5 most famous or recognised personalities in the world.
At one time, Tyson was the most spoken English word in the world that overtook Coca-Cola. That's fact.
Really?
Coca-Cola was the most spoken English word. Now, there's thousands of languages in the world, and some of us don't understand each other's languages. Some people have that gift, they can speak different languages. I struggle with English. But,
me too.
but Mike Tyson's name, Tyson, overtook Coca-Cola as the most spoken English word on the planet. Wow. You could go to the remotest parts of Africa, the remotest parts of Asia, the remotest parts of the world. Tyson. The impact that man made, incredible, because he was a force of nature. He was. The power and the speed and the mindset that he had when Cuss was alive, and I still believe this, and I won't deter from this. We never saw the best of Mike Tyson, because he died before Mike even peaked. Yeah. Mike was 20 years of age. Cuss sadly passed.
Cuss would have been with him for another 6 years.
Listen, Mike hadn't even matured properly. He was 20 years of age. Cuss sadly passed. Imagine what he could have done with another 4 or 5 years as a man. As a man. Like I said, the Klitschko's, they ruled the world for 10 years. Mike could have ruled the world for as long as he wanted to rule the world if Cuss was alive, because fighters need protecting. And people ask me, what do you mean you need protecting? I said, because with the trappings of success, there's always the pitfalls that surround you, whether it be the drink, whether it be the drugs, whether it be the fast cars, the fast women. There's a lot of things that are distractions. And I just think that if you haven't got the tunnel vision and the focus to...
And then professionals around you protecting you from all of that.
Minding you.
You can easily be misled.
You can. It's happened to so many... Mike in particular, we never saw...
example, isn't he, of being the most successful
When Mike met Wayne Rooney and Ricky Hatton for the first time, I brought them along to meet Mike in Lounge 10, Phil Yates's restaurant in Tib Lane in Manchester.
Okay.
And Mike and Ricky, two young rising stars, and they both shone. They both shone as stars. But Mike spoke to them as young men, as young athletes, and he explained to them. I watched it. It was very, very wonderful to see. And Mike embraced the two of them. They were in awe of Mike Tyson. And he said, listen, when you achieve what you both will go on to achieve, fame and glory and wealth, just be careful of the outset, the outside, the trappings of success, but what comes along with it. Because when people come over to you, they're not all coming over to shake your hand and pat you on the back. You know, there's so many sharks out there, and in particular in the boxing world. I don't know much about the football world, but you see a lot of football players that have millions and then suddenly they're broke.
Yeah, it happens too
often,
doesn't
it? Happens in boxing as well, because you need to be advised and guided properly how to invest your money, how to look after it. But Mike gave Wayne and Ricky a pep talk that day in Lounge 10. I remember it. And it was lovely to see. He was a big fan of both. And the affection that he showed the two of them and what they showed him as well. I could see them both listening intently. But when Mike Tyson speaks, you do listen intently.
Absolutely.
He's captivating. But there's so many pitfalls for young athletes. And if they don't get minded, and you got to wrap them, cocoon them, you know. And in boxing, it's the only sport in the world where the lambs rule the lions. You know, you very seldom see, if ever, you see a boxing manager having to stand on the door of a nightclub when his career's finished. But when you see heavyweight champions of the world having to stand on doors of nightclubs, you know, to make ends meet after the millions that they've earned.
It seems wrong, doesn't it?
It's sad, it's tragic.
So why is that? They're super talented physically in their ability of what they're doing, but they're not necessarily educated enough to money manage what they've achieved.
I'm not being disrespectful to boxers, I'm not being disrespectful to basketball players, I'm not being disrespectful to soccer players, but they're the three sports where the athletes come from very humble beginnings. People say we come from the gutter. I don't like that terminology. We come from very humble beginnings, and we either fight, we either play football or we play basketball to try and make a better life for yourself and your future family. And boxers in particular, they got to fight for every pound, every dollar that they earn. It's the hardest earned money in the world, but they tend, and I'm sure basketball players have done the same, and soccer players have done the same, they tend to trust these intelligent whiz kids. You know, whether
like
they
agents
be
and management around them.
Whether they be agents, managers, accountants, they tend to trust them because they've got an education, they've got a degree, they've got a whatever they've got.
A good reputation for bringing other boxers up from bottom to top.
So you tend to trust them,
and
they sign the contracts. But sometimes they sign too quick without getting it read over. I've done it myself, but I was very fortunate. I signed with Mr. Eastwood when I signed professional. And he was a good man. I know he had his differences in the end with Barry McGuigan, but that's their personal difference. I don't know exactly what went on. Mr. Eastwood to me was very kind. When I signed my contract, I hadn't got any major earning potential. You know, I was Irish heavyweight champion, but he gave me a good contract. You know, I dreamed of becoming a champion of the world, but I wasn't good enough. I was going to be an undercard fighter on Mr.
How does that work, Joe, when they give you a contract to then say, okay, you're professional, I'm your management agency, I'll give you X amount, and you've got to have 4 bouts per year? Would that, how does it work?
He signed me on a 3-year contract.
3-year contract.
He signed me on a 3-year contract. He gave me a nice signing on fee. He gave me a beautiful place to live, and he gave me a wage as well. You know, and he minded me very, very well. He was a very rich man. He was a bookmaker in Ireland.
Was he making money out of you?
Well, he made money out of the fighters, but he didn't live off the sport. He lived for the sport. That's the difference,
okay,
you know. Mr. Eastwood had his
heart there, was
yes,
passion
he had
for
his
it,
bookmaker's business. He was a very, very successful bookmaker. He knew my granddad as well. He knew my granddad Ben, my mum's daddy. They'd been friends a lot of years, and he knew my family in Belfast. My dad's sister Annette was married to Dominic Bannon. And he knew my family. I didn't get any preferential treatment. He was kind to us all. He was kind to all his fighters, you know. And at one stage, his camp had several world champions, British and European champions, Irish champions. And the camaraderie and the friendship in the gym was great, you know. I used to run the Wentons from Liverpool, Richie and Nigel Wenton. They boxed for Mr. Eastwood. Andy Holligan boxed for Mr. Eastwood.
Andy Holligan,
Paul Hodgkinson.
Andy Holligan fought Millie Chavez.
I don't know who he fought for the world title.
Vegas,
I know Paul Hodgkinson went
years ago.
Paul Hodgkinson was the featherweight champ of the world for Mr. Eastwood.
Okay.
So I used to train with Paul and the Wentons, Richie and Nigel, Andy Holligan, you know. So there was 4 Liverpool fighters in the gym. Then there was South Americans, Colombians, Panamanians, Venezuelans in the gym.
All around the world.
All around the world. You know, me and Steve Collins used to drive up from Dublin and we'd spend a week in Belfast. We'd be in Beresford House in Queen's Parade in Bangor, and Jean Anderson was the lady of the guest house. She looked after us, she'd fed us and watered us and made sure we were okay. And then on Grace Hill, there was an annex to the guest house, and the South American fighters used to live in there. We'd all jog together along Bangor Parade along the seafront, and then we'd all travel in the minibus to train in the afternoon. And it was a great camaraderie. Mr. Eastwood was kind to us all.
At that point then, where you feel you're peaking in your career, was there at no point then you thought, look, I've done years of sparring with Mike Tyson and become one of the greatest in the world. You've stood the ground, you've done the mileage with him in the rounds. Was there no point in your career you thought, I know I love him, respect him as a friend and a brother and everything, but can I not challenge him and try and get the £5-6 million payday as opposed to whatever you're getting, you know, as a sparring partner, which I would imagine would be...
I wasn't good enough, Craig. I wasn't anywhere near good enough. I could stand 2 or 3 rounds with him sparring. I'd have body armour on some days, big headgear on some days. You know, other days you might have a smaller headgear, but if it was a day that I might have a bruise from the previous sparring session, you'd have the bigger headgear. It's better with the bigger headgear. I'd have got him with a motorbike helmet, full face motorbike helmet. I
was going to say, I prefer a motorbike helmet and a neck brace.
But no, I wouldn't have been. I was good for 3 rounds. Even as an amateur, I could stand with the best punches in the world for 3 rounds. I didn't like to do them 6, 8, 10, 12 rounds. I didn't like
Were you too heavy for that?
No, I didn't like the running. I never liked the running, Craig. And I think if you're going to fight, I've done 6 rounders. I got put down on my first 6 rounder. What round did I ever get put? Round 6 I got put down, I think. But I went on to win. I got up and held on and went on to win. But if you're going to fight 6, 8, 10, 12 rounds, you've got to run 6, 8, 10, 12 miles. And I never liked the running. I'd do the sparring, I'd spar, I'd do the bag work, I'd do the pad work. But I think, and I tell young fighters when I'm talking to young fighters, you've got to put the miles in on the road.
Absolutely,
you've got to, because you've got to have that fuel in the tank for when you get into fight, you know. And listen, if you don't put the mileage in on the road, and I learned the hard way, I didn't put the mileage in. So I suffered, like I said, I got put down in a few of my later fights as a pro, but I got tired. But I tell people, you could have the best Formula 1 car in the world on the racetrack with an out clapped out banger of a car. But the Formula 1 car up mine had a small amount of fuel in the engine, in the petrol tank. And the clapped out banger was a full tank.
It's going to go the distance,
after a certain length of time, that Formula 1 car is stopping because it's run out of fuel.
Makes sense.
The clapped out banger is still going to be going because it's put the fuel in.
It's the hair and the snake.
And I tell people, even there, prime example, Tyson Fury Usyk. Prime example. I don't care what anybody says. I will stand and debate this with the best debaters in the world. Tyson Fury wasn't fit for that fight. Because I don't care what anybody says, his brilliance was only in flashes. He could not sustain the brilliance because he was tired. Right? Usyk, he sustained the brilliance because he was fit. And there's an old saying, fail to prepare, be prepared to fail. Now, Tyson Fury's preparation, he broke his camp 9 weeks out to go and watch Ngannou and Joshua. So that's a break in the camp out in Saudi. His second break in the camp. Well, that was the previous fight,
the previous
right?
one,
But his second break, and you have a 12-week training camp, right? All champions do a 12-week training camp in preparation for for the title fights, whether it be a challenger or a champion. Now, I've been in 12-week training camps, not for 12 weeks. I've been there for 3 or 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks as a sparring partner. So I've been in world title training camps, and I've seen the Spartan-like lifestyle that they live. I've seen the total focus, that they've got tunnel vision, right? And Tyson Fury had that tunnel vision for the Wilder fights. He had that tunnel vision for the Klitschko victory when he took the title first, because he was dancing around. Even when he got put down by Wilder in round 12, he got back up and he danced around because his fitness was supreme. He could have fought 24 rounds, right? Because he put the miles in on the hills, on the roads. But when he fought against Usyk, that camp wasn't a good camp. 9 weeks out, ringside, watching Ngannou Joshua. 7 weeks out, doing a press conference in Manchester, minus Usyk. He didn't break camp. 4 weeks out, he was with his family in Morecambe. Like I said, fail to prepare, be prepared to fail. At flashes during that fight, like I said, the brilliance was there, because he is brilliant. He's an incredible boxer. He's an incredible boxing brain. And he bamboozled Usyk at different stages of that fight. But his fitness wasn't there to push it and drive it home.
Do you think he could have done better if his
fitness would have been? Do it in the rematch. If he, listen, I've got a personal issue with his dad. That's right? Yeah. Now, his father was in the corner with Andy Lee and Sugar Hill, 2 great trainers. Andy Lee is a particular achiever as well. He won world titles. But John Fury was in the corner and he shouted them in the corner. He overshadowed them in the corner. Now, I know he's Tyson's daddy and he's letting his heart rule his head, but you don't over-talk, especially in a minute in between rounds when the fighter has to be lifted. Fighter has to be lifted. That minute pep talk has to lift the fighter spirit. And he's shouting in the corner, "You're doing this, you're doing that." I thought to myself, let the knowledgeable men talk. When he fought Klitschko, John was in prison. When he fought Wilder, John couldn't come into America. So both times in them fights, Tyson Fury was at his best. So what does that tell you? John, stay well clear of the training camp. Stay well clear of the corner. Right? And let the knowledgeable men, the men that are thinking with their head, not with their heart, dictate the training camp and dictate the fight. And I think Tyson Fury is better in a training camp without his father, and he's better in the fight without his dad in the corner. And that's not being personal to his dad, because I'm a massive Tyson Fury fan. I'm a massive Tyson Fury fan. I think he's an incredible champion. I think he's an incredible human being.
Friend of yours as well, isn't he?
He's a personal friend of mine. And I think he's an incredible human being to overcome the mental health that he's overcome, to be a role model, for so many sufferers. Because if he's suffering and has achieved what he's achieved, which is incredible,
inspiring to millions, can't
he? He inspired so many. And talk about inspirations. I'll just tell you, I'll put Tyson Fury's name into another incredible human being, right? Michael Watson. This is another incredible human being, right? Michael Watson, like Tyson Fury, has inspired a lot of people. Michael sadly got wounded in his fights. The fight with Ben and the fight with Eubank, I don't blame the Eubanks fight. I think the Ben fight damage had been done in that particular fight. And by the time he ended up fighting Chris, I think there was a bleed there. Do you understand that they hadn't detected, right? Because he had the fight with Mike McCallum, then he did a fight with Nigel Ben, then he did a fight with Eubanks, and the sparring sessions to prepare for them fights. I think there was a little bit of damage before the fight with Eubanks. I think it was just... It was brought on in the human fight.
The straw that broke the camel's back sort of thing.
But when they say great men walk on the moon, Craig, that's not great men. That's great technology. A rocket could bring me to the moon. There'd only be some rocket out to bring the size of me to the moon. But I'm just saying, a rocket could bring me to the moon. Does that make me a great man? No.
It's the rocket in it,
It's the rocket, the technology and the
infrastructure around it, isn't it, that gets you there,
that brings you to the moon. Do you understand? And the men that walked on the moon, the first man that walked on the moon, the second man that walked on the moon, incredible. But that doesn't make them great men. It's great technology. A man that walks when they say is never going to walk, that's a great man. Right? Now, Michael Watson is one of them great men. Tyson Fury is one of them great men to overcome his mental health and achieve what he's achieved. Well, Michael Watson's the same. The doctors told him he's never going to walk again. Never walk again after the injury he sustained. It took him 4 days to walk the London Marathon, but he walked the London Marathon. And I sat.
Ben was there at the end. Was it Ben or Chris Eubank at the end? I think I've seen clips of that.
They admire him and respect him so much, as does the world. Now I'd done a dinner show, London Ex-Boxers Association, LIBA, and there was well over 100 champions there, British, European, Commonwealth and World champions in attendance. It was a golf day. And I was there with my friend Paul Norton and my other friend, Dave Lovell, who's an ex-journeyman pro. So there was journeyman fighters there as well. And there was a young boxer in attendance called Mark Galt. And Sir Henry Cooper was on the mic and Michael Watson was on the mic. And Sir Henry said, there's another fighter in the room that sustained the same injuries that Michael Watson sustained, and we'd like to call this young man to the microphone. Now it took him a good few minutes to walk the length of the room, because every step, the man had been paralysed, but was able to get up and walk eventually. And he walked with his mother and father either side of him. You could see in his face, the strain in his face, every step he took was sheer determination, willpower. And we're all in the room. Every fighter in the room is willing him on. Not one of us cried. If any one of us has cried, there would have been a flood. And I'm winning him on. And as he's walking to the microphone, Michael Watson went, "Warrior!" It was incredible. He got to the microphone with his mother and father either side. The boy couldn't speak because, as I said, the paralysis, that he'd been paralysed.
The speech,
yes, he couldn't speak, but he eventually walked. And his mother took the microphone and she said, "Michael Watson," she said, "from the bottom of our hearts," she said, "I want to thank you because you're an inspiration to our son. They told you would never walk again, and you walked. They told us our son would never walk again, and he walked. They told you you'd never talk again, and you talked, and our son will talk. So from the bottom of our hearts, we want to thank you." So I'm at a dinner show in Brighton with Scott Welch and Evander Holyfield, one of the greatest fighters ever graced the boxing ring, Holyfield, the real deal. And I told Evander, it's on my DVD, I told Evander Holyfield about Michael Watson. Evander knew who Michael Watson was. And he said, because Evander's a religious man.
He is, isn't he?
When he signs his autograph, he signs a piece from the Bible.
Does he?
Signs a paragraph, whatever paragraph he's reading that day in the Bible, he'll sign that. And he'll put the reference in his autograph. And he said to Michael Watson, the same as what I've just said there. He said, "You're an inspiration around the world." He said, "You've reached out and touched so many people without even knowing what you're doing." And he said, "Michael, you keep doing what you're doing." He says, "Because you are lifting people when they say they're not going to walk." He said, "You are lifting them up to walk."
The last clip I seen of Michael was Piers Morgan's life stories, and he had Chris Eubank on, and he had Michael in the audience. He stood up and he could speak then to me to a degree.
Incredible human being.
It's improved, hasn't it? Certainly.
An incredible human being. An incredible human being. Well, Tyson Fury is another one of them incredible human beings, because I'm sure he got told many times with his mental health, "You'll achieve nothing. You'll amount to nothing." You understand? And there's another friend of mine, Willard Wigan, who's the miniature sculptor. He was told in school, because he's dyslexic and he suffered, he can't read or write.
Is he the guy who does things
the
size of an with a pin?
That's him.
I've met him.
He's an incredible man. But that was a young boy in school. His story is unbelievable. He was told in school, he was actually brought around the classes as the school dunce to say, "This is what you will amount to if you don't read, if you don't study. This boy here is the school dunce. And this boy is going nowhere, will amount to nothing." Horrible and sad, right? Well, not only is he amounted to something, he's an incredible human being, Willard Wigan. And he's got his heartbeat down to several beats a minute.
Because he has to slow that down to be able to do that particular work.
He paints with an eyelash. It's incredible what he has done. Putting micro. You know, you couldn't see them without the super microscopes. He's now working with some of the best heart surgeons and some of the best surgeons in the world to show them how to control the heartbeat.
To keep their hand steady enough for it?
Yes. Wow. And he's been given...
And that's years of training. That's not something you can learn overnight, is it?
He got the MBE from the Queen.
Did he now?
He got the MBE from the Queen. It's an incredible story.
Yeah.
And he's another incredible human being. Like Michael Watson, like Tyson Fury. You know, he has set precedent. He can lecture to people and say, "Listen, you put your mind to something that you believe in. You don't believe, you won't achieve."
You won't achieve, no. And I've seen a clip of you in the dressing room, or talking about an incident in the dressing room with Evander Holyfield before he fought Mike Tyson for the heavyweight championship of the world, and you or someone went into Tyson's
Scott Welch.
dressing room. Was it Scott? Was it?
Scott
Yeah,
Welch.
yeah, yeah. And there was a party atmosphere, everyone around him, and Mike was
Mike just
in
thought
his
he had
way.
to show up.
Yeah, because he knows he's going to win everybody, and that's all he's ever done is won everyone.
In his mind, Mike is the more powerful, more stronger, more
powerful in the head.
Yes,
you know,
right?
determined.
So he believed the hype.
Yeah,
he thought,
couldn't lose.
I can't lose to Holyfield. He's too small.
Where Holyfield was on his own.
Listen,
in the dressing room praying, wasn't he?
When Scott went into the dressing room to Mike, it was like a party atmosphere.
Yeah.
Everybody's so fired up. Mike's the champ. You're going to do this. No
so
problem.
they're celebrating before he's even got out
before
into
the first
the ring.
punch was thrown.
Wow.
So Scott went in. Mike said, "Hey Scotty, how you doing?" He says, "Came to wish you good luck." Scott left, went down to Evander because Scott boxed on the undercard. He fought 12 rounds with Henrico Monday, and came close to winning the world heavyweight title. Another incredible fight to Scott Welch. He went into Evander's dressing room. He said it was quite eerie to come from Mike's party atmosphere dressing room into Evander's dressing room. Yeah. And Evander was on his knees at the end of the dressing room, praying. Yeah. And Scott went in and he said, "Evander, I've come in to wish you good luck." And Evander looked up, he goes, "Scotty, if you don't believe, you won't achieve." Nobody believed he could beat Mike Tyson. Only himself.
Only person,
Yes.
Wow.
And he did win.
And he did win,
beat
yes.
Mike.
Yeah.
And,
twice.
He was Mike's boogeyman. We all had boogeymen because it's funny, Paddy Finn, who was my inspiration when I was a kid, his family had founded my amateur boxing club, Irish heavyweight champion. I wanted to emulate Paddy Finn so much. Yeah. Right, he was the Irish heavyweight champion and I wanted to follow in his footsteps. His father, Boxer Finn, John Boxer Finn, had founded our club. Well, he boxed as a pro and he boxed for a family in Birmingham. Linden Scaffolding is their company, and there's oh God, I've gone blank now. I shouldn't have had that last fight, Craig. But he signed with them, and good people. Oh God, they're friends of mine as well.
It'll come to you. It'll come to you.
Paddy Finn fought a heavyweight called Noel Corliss, and he beat Noel Corliss twice. A good heavyweight. I think Noel was from Liverpool.
Was he? Yeah, okay.
I think so. And he beat Noel Corliss twice. Yeah. And tough heavyweight Noel Corliss. And Paddy beat him twice. Yeah. And Noel used to say, "Paddy, we've got to have a third one." And Paddy would say, "I've beaten you twice, Noel. If I beat you a third time, I'll end up bringing you home, putting you on my mantelpiece. It'll be a trophy for me, right?" Having the crash. There's a great camaraderie amongst fighters.
Yeah.
But then Paddy boxed a fighter called Anders Eklund, who went on to win the European title. And Anders Eklund knocked out Paddy Finn.
Oh, right? Okay.
But then Noel Corliss, who'd been beaten by Paddy Finn, boxed Anders Eklund. And he ended up knocking out Anders Eklund. So that's boxing. You could beat one man. Yeah. That one man could beat the next man, and the next man could beat you.
And it just goes round like that,
You don't know.
It's
on the day.
It's never 100% predictable, is it? No. It really isn't, is it? Okay, so you just mentioned then your last fight. Your professional boxing career cut short from a car accident.
Yeah, I had a bad car accident. I was after winning a good fight. It was a hard fight. I boxed in the King, so it was my first ever time at a world title bill. And I boxed on Dave Boy McCauley's bill. He was the flyweight champion of the world, and out of the same camp as me, Mr. Eastwood's camp. And he was boxing an American called Lewis Curtis. Well, I boxed a British fighter called Carlton Headley, big, strong powerhouse of a guy, modelled himself off Ken Norton, very fast, very elusive, very powerful. And he caught me a couple of good shots in the first round, and he ripped my face open. I got cut across the top of the eye, down the side of the eye, across the cheek here, across the lip. He was cutting me to bits. But Paddy Byrne, whose sister was my auntie, Cynthia Byrne, she was married to my mum's brother Sean. Paddy Byrne was recognised as one of the best cutsmen in the world. Okay. And I was very fortunate that he was in my corner that night. He was also the matchmaker for Mr. Eastwood. And he was in the corner, and he stemmed the flow of blood. Because that's why the fights get stopped. It doesn't matter how bad the wound is. Yeah. Once the blood isn't running into your eye to restrict your vision,
he's got to stop it,
the referee has to stop it then. Because if you can't see,
you can't defend yourself, can you?
You can't fight. I've seen fighters, Paul Hodgkinson, when he fought Macclesfield are saying it there's a picture in the back page of the newspaper, the Daily Mirror, the Sun, or the Star, and he can't. Both his eyes are completely closed, and he wanted to fight on. He said, "I can't see, but I want to fight." And I'm thinking to myself, the hearts of lions.
Yeah. And
like
at
I said,
that moment with the adrenaline you've got to that stage,
like
you
I
don't
said,
want nothing to stop you,
when I got
do
put
you?
down, I didn't see the punch coming. That was one eye closed. Paul Hutchinson wanted to fight on with two eyes closed. An incredible fighter, fighting and defending his world title. But once the blood is running into your eye or into your eyes, you can see, and the referee should really allow you to fight once you can see.
Yeah.
And I've got a funny story about a friend of mine, Nigel Rafferty. He was boxing Sam Story out of the same camp as me.
Okay.
Sam was the British champion, and Nigel got a shot at the British title. And round 5, both Nigel's eyes are cut. He's busted wide open, right? He's in a bad way, but he wants to fight on. And the cornerman said, "We're stopping the fight, Nigel." He said, both your eyes are cut, you're battered, and you're in trouble. He said, "Listen, give me one more round." He said, "What more damage can he do to me in one more round?"
A lot.
Round six, he broke his nose. So he laughed about that afterwards. He said, "What more damage can he do?" He said, "He broke my nose in round 6. But the fighter is the last man to know their beats. But once you can see, the referee should allow you at least that next round.
Okay,
Because you might get lucky, you might
Can
not.
they give you any extra time in your minutes in between rounds they think that you just need to be a little bit more cleaned up?
You've got a minute in between rounds.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can extend that minute by doing a couple of the tricks of the trade. You know, delay with taking the stool out, delay with putting the gum
Get
shield
5
in.
or 10 seconds.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And that extra couple of seconds
Can
it
be
can
a
help.
difference.
It
Can be a difference. Absolutely.
Understand? It can help.
Yeah, it certainly can.
Because
So was life tough for you then when you come out of the boxing? Was that tough mentally to?
When it was over, that
turn
particular
your life
night,
into something else now.
that
then?
night of that fight against Carlton Headley, after the event, I would have gone out in Belfast with the fighters, the after party or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't drink alcohol.
No,
I've
you don't, do you?
no interest in alcohol. You know, my dad used to say, people used to say, "What sort of an Irishman are you? You don't drink alcohol." I said, my dad used to say I was a failure as an Irishman. It's expected of us to drink. But that particular night, my family had arranged to coach for family and friends to come and see the fight. And because I'd got badly cut, I got 64 stitches after the fight. Some internal stitches, external. I was grotesque. You know, my face was badly smashed. I won the fight. I went on to win a great fight, but I didn't feel like going out. And I went home to Dublin on the coach that my sister and my family had arranged. And the coach was in a bad car crash that particular night, the early hours of the next morning.
Okay.
And I smashed my shoulder, smashed my jaw, smashed my knee. Ended up several weeks in hospital. So my career was finished. It was over. Yeah. And my life spiraled out of control after that, Craig. You know, I didn't know what to do with my life. I wasn't in a good place because boxing had been my everything.
Yeah, your driving force, hasn't it?
Suddenly it was over. But after 12 years out of the ring, I'd got into trouble. I've been shot a few times and ended up in prison. Not proud of it. Not proud of it at all. I regret it to the day.
Is this the incident in the pub?
Yeah, I went into the pub trade like a lot of fighters. Paddy Finn gave me the opportunity when he retired from boxing because of his trap disc in his back. He said, "Joe, there's life after boxing." I went into a 2-year depression, Craig, when it was over. And I wasn't the sort of person that I thought depression could hit. Not that I'm anything special, but I was full of the joys of life.
Yeah.
You know, jovial Joe. And then suddenly my boxing's over. I still get paid by my manager. I was still living in his accommodation. You know, in a nice car and a nice income, but my boxing was over.
Yeah, you just wasn't able to do the things you loved, which was training and sparring.
25 years of age and it's over.
Yeah.
And it was very, very hard to accept. So I went into a 2-year depression and I piled the weight on and I went from 15 stone to over 30 stone in 2 years.
Over 30?
Yeah.
Christ, I didn't realise it was that bad. No,
Craig,
no.
I was obese. I was obese. 2 years I was just eating anything and junk food galore. And this particular day, my boxer dog, Sheba, was whinging. And I said, "Shut up, Sheba, shut up." I was lying in bed, I was feeling sorry for myself. I remember as if it was yesterday. And after a couple of hours of my whinging, I eventually got out of bed. And my dog had pooed on the floor. And I felt ashamed of myself, thinking to myself, she was in pain, trying to get out to go to the toilet. And I wouldn't get out of bed to open the back door and let her out to go to the toilet. I felt ashamed of myself. She's looking up at me. She knew what she'd done. Yeah. But I knew what I'd done.
She didn't want to do that.
No, she didn't want to do that. She was beautiful.
Fault, yeah.
Had her for 14 years. She got a tumour in her eye. Box of dogs are prone to the tumour and had to have her put to sleep. She was too beautiful to have half her face cut away with the tumour. But she had 24 puppies. 13 her first, her 9 survived, and 11 her second, and 7 survived. All pedigree pups. But I felt ashamed to think that I let my dog in pain rather than get out of bed feeling sorry for myself to open the door to let her out. So the next day, I went down to the boxing gym. And I'd gone from a 34-inch waist to a 56-inch waist. I was obese, you know, and I walked into the gym. I waddled into the gym. I didn't walk into the gym. I waddled into the gym. And Mr. Eastwood was there and all the other fighters. I hadn't seen someone for 2 years. And you could hear the gasps. And I said, Mr. Eastwood, I said, I need help. I said, I need help. My mind's gone. I didn't know what to do. My boxing was over. I had the door. I'd done security all my life. I'd left school when I was 14. I had the door. I've always had the safety net of security. But my boxing was my world. And suddenly it was over.
That's what you live for, yeah?
Yeah, and suddenly it was over. And I asked Mr. Eastwood for help. Anyway.
Did you find that hard, asking for help?
I did at the time because your pride. Do you understand? Your pride. But now, I know that if I need help, I can ask for it because I asked for it then as a young fighter. You understand that was in a bad place, in a dark place, and I asked Mr. Eastwood for help straight away. He said, right. He said, we'll organise counselling. He said, we'll organise you going to a health farm. He organised counselling. I went and spoke to counsellors. He organised the health farm. I went to Raspberry Hill in Derry. And I remember his driver, Ray Boyd, he drove me up. It was incredible. The most amazing, beautiful place. You know, it was golf courses, tennis courts, you know, spa, gymnasium. And I spent a number of months there. And they got me into the mindset that there was more to life than boxing. Yeah. You know, life's for living.
Yeah.
And
you've got a lot to thank them for.
Yeah, I do, yeah. And I remember he was a kind man, a very kind man. I remember Ray Boyd leaving me there at 8:30 in the morning. The induction was 9 o'clock. And I had a long time there. Got my mindset right. Then when I did get out, not get out, I was free to leave anytime I wanted. When I did come out, I was in a different mindset.
Okay, so that was a tipping point to change you from that low and 2 years of depression.
I spoke to my dad. I said, Dad, Paddy Finn, I've spoken to him. And he said that he's the publican in Birmingham. He's got the Dubliner pub. And if I wanted to come over and go work for him, he said he put me through courses and he sent me through the 2 MVQ courses. I've done 2 MVQs. I've done the BII, British Institute of Innkeeping. Okay. And I learned the trade. Yeah. I learned the pub trade. Yeah. And I worked 2 years for Paddy, became the licensee of the Dubliner pub. And then I took over the Lyndhurst in Erdington. But that time with Mr. Eastwood in the health farm, in the counselling, gave me the confidence of life. Yeah. Because up until that, Craig, I'd been minded by my parents. I'd been minded by my managers. I'd been minded in the Catskills. Yeah. You know, so I'd always been minded, and then suddenly, I'm out there on my own. It's
not being able to do the things that you loved and trained for all your life.
I got it together, came over here, and enjoyed my life here. You know. Yeah. And the Lyndhurst, then I did well, my business partner, but then we had the attack on the 26th of July 1998 by the racketeers trying to cash in on our success.
So they were coming into this pub wanting protection money from you.
Protection money. About the royalty out of respect, about the no man out of fear. I can't do it. I'd rather die standing on my feet than live crawling on my belly. Yeah. No chance would I bow to these thugs and bullies.
And I take it these were quite powerful
racketeers. They'd run Birmingham for 15 years.
Had they?
Yeah. People think this only happens in movies and in books. It happens in real life because it happened to me. Do you understand? I'm not saying that it can't happen to anybody else because it happened to me. I'm nothing special. I'm nobody special. Yeah. Do you understand? But
what happens, it's in everyday life, isn't it?
That's it. You know, so I stood up to them. They put a demand in on the 19th of July 1998, put a demand in for £500 with protection money. The following week they attacked. I took 2 gunshot wounds, but I was blessed that particular day. And it's funny, I met a man yesterday.
Did they shoot you in the pub itself?
Yeah, I met a man yesterday, Big Lurch. I was going for a sunbed in King's Heath in Birmingham. I was with my friend Dave Appleton, and I bumped into Big Lurch. He was one of my security men in the pub. I haven't seen Lurch for a long time, and he's a big man. I took Lurch down to see Mike Tyson. The people that stood with me at the pub on the day of the battle, you know, friends and family that had stood and fought.
Is this why you got into trouble for this, didn't you? You done time, didn't you, for this?
I got into trouble.
And is that because you prepared to go to battle? You knew these racketeers were coming to take money off you?
I believed, I put my faith in the police. I had a sergeant called Andy Gilbert, a good police officer, the way a police officer should be, a genuine, caring, decent man. And I told him what was going on. My business partner at the time, ex-French Foreign Legion, he said, let's bring it to them. They'd put the demand in, let's bring it to them.
The best form of defence is attack, isn't it?
Well, I said no. Tommy, I said no. I said, I'm getting a second bite of the apple here, right? I said, I'm not a wealthy man, I'm a working man. And I said, my boxing was took from me, and I went, spiraled out of control in my life. Now I'm getting a second bite of the apple. Some people don't get one bite of the apple.
Win,
I'm getting my second bite. I said, Tommy, let the police deal with this. I'm a licensee, I'm not a vigilante. Let the police deal with it. So my police sergeant, he said, Joe, we'll make sure that nothing happens, nothing comes of this. So the following week, on the 26th of July 1998, I get a call from a friend of mine, another Republican, and he rings me and says, Joe, these gangs are gathering in these particular venues, and they're getting ready to attack you. So I phoned Andy, and he said, I'm on my way to you, Joe. I radio the station. He said, I get men to go to these pubs and disperse these gangs. As he was on his way to me, he got sent to a Mickey Mouse alarm call on the Bromford, and half an hour after my phone call to him, there's 37 men on my car park. There's at least 60 more marching. 37 men on my car park with handguns, shotgun, hatchets and machetes. There's at least 60 more marching up Sutton Road on the way to attack. So there's the guts of about 100 thugs.
Strong,
100 thugs coming to attack the pub. Now on the day of our attack, we had a function going on in the function room, a travelling community. My mum's people, horse people. So I'm well connected and well got with the travelling community.
That's right,
And they're having a function in the function room. I've got the pub frequented by ex-boxers, my friends. Nothing more than they come to the pub for a bit of fun. I was blessed on that day that there was men and women that stood beside me that day on the attack, because I wouldn't be here today talking to you, Craig, if they hadn't been. Yes, they would have. I might have took a few of them with me, but what good is that? I'm gone.
You're gone,
So one man in particular, Steve Dalton, bravest man I've ever seen in my life. He ran at the bullets. He got hit with 2 bullets from a 32, 3 shots were fired from the handgun, 2 of them hit him. I blessed myself, hid behind a wall. I'm not ashamed to say, I was scared. I hid behind a wall. He's run at the bullets. Tim O'Regan, after the handgun was thrown on the floor, was thrown on the ground, it jammed after 3 shots. Tim O'Regan, an old Irishman that had fought in World War II, stepped out with his hands up. He said, I can stop this. I know these gangs that are attacking. I can stop this. As he stepped out, I've stepped out to pull him in behind the wall again for cover. And the scumbag, I won't name, I won't glorify him, was handed a sawn-off shotgun. And he looked, and I've looked into the eyes of many men on the doors, and many men in the boxing ring, but I've never looked into evil like it in my life. He looked through Tim O'Regan to shoot me, and he blasted Tim O'Regan, blew his hip clean out. Some of the shotgun pellets hit me around the side of my body and wherever else hit me. But he blew the hip clean out of Tim O'Regan. Blessings of God, Tim survived. He had a hip replacement. He was splattered. And the stench, and I've smelled some stenches in my life. I've been in gyms where some of the training gear doesn't smell too healthy. My own in particular, right? But I've never smelled the stench like burning skin. Steve Dalton's skin burning from his gunshot wounds, Tim O'Regan's skin burning from his gunshot wounds, and my own skin burning. Because when the bullets or the pellets enter your body, they're melting your skin. You know, and it's a stench that you can't. It was horrific. But blessings of God, nobody died on that day. Blessings of God, nobody died. And it was a band of brothers and sisters. There was women there fighting as well. But I brought them all down to meet Mike when he was over. In particular this day, Mike shouted, there was like 10 or 12 of my friends, and Mike shouted in front of them all, he said, Joe, any more trouble at the Lyndhurst? I'm landing. And they were all shocked to think that he knew about it, but he's my friend, I talk to him regularly. But when we had the first dinner show in 2005 in Birmingham at the Hilton Hotel, Mike presented Steve Dalton a gift on the stage in front of a 1,500 audience. He said, I want to thank a member of this audience, he said, for putting their life on the line for my brother Joe. And he brought Steve Dalton to the stage. Wow. Bravest man I ever met. And I glorify Steve because he didn't do it for financial gain. He'd done it for camaraderie, for his friend. He still says it was a moment of madness because his wife and his sister was in the pub that day. And his brother-in-law, Jason McAllinden, you know, Jason's one of my best friends. And Jason's sister, Tina, is married to Stephen. So Jason and Stephen are brother-in-laws, and Tina and Stephen have a son called Jack Dempsey Dalton.
Jack Dempsey Dalton.
Jack Dempsey Dalton. You know, he's a young man, he's a fine young man. But Steve Dalton, I cannot thank that man enough.
No. It saved your life.
Yeah.
Literally.
He saved my life.
Wow.
He saved a lot of people's lives that day. Do you understand? Because, like I said to him, I said, if them animals had got in the door, who knows what they would have done.
Could have killed many and wrote the place off, you know.
So, after that, my life spiraled out of control. Now, at the second bite of the apple, and it's gone. And it spiraled out of control. And I got into trouble, Craig, and ended up in prison.
How long were you sent down for?
I originally got 2.5 years, but when I was in there, they tried to increase it to 7. They increased it to 4.
Wow.
So I got out on parole after 2 years. And when I was in prison, I saved a man's life, you know. So I said to the prison officers, they didn't put me in prison. They had to supervise my stay. And I actually saved the prison officer's life. I won a commendation from the governor. And I was just happy to save a man's life. You know, I'd done St. John's Ambulance Brigade when I was a kid, so I know a little bit about first aid. And I saved a man's life. And I was glad that I did that. You know, he was an ex-soldier that was doing part-time work to subsidise his pension. He was a part-time prison officer. And Mr. Leake, I think was the man's name. And I saved his life. And then Mr. Gordon, head of security in the prison, the alarm bells had gone off and the security team run in, and I was attending to him. And like I said,
what happened to him? Had he been attacked by?
He took a massive heart attack.
Oh, he took a heart attack.
He took a heart attack. And I know a little bit about the first aid, and I was able to resuscitate. I was able to keep the man alive. You know, to get the security team in, to get him to the hospital, to save the man's life. And I was glad that I did that. Do you understand? And
rewarding, isn't it?
So when I got out of prison, then I made the comeback in the boxing because I was broke. I was brassic, and I didn't want to go cap in hand to Mike. I've asked Mike for years of friendship, and he's given me years of friendship. I've never asked him for money. I've never gone cap in hand to him or anybody else. I'm a working man. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't gamble, I don't take drugs. I work.
Work hard.
And I asked Mike if I could get on his undercard. I said, I'm not good enough to spar with you anymore, Mike. But I said, I'm going to have a fight in Ireland. And I get the truth from the Irish. If there's nothing left, I'll be told. There's nothing left. Call it a day. I hadn't fought for 12 years. There was a big write-up in the boxing news. It said, George Foreman makes the comeback after 10 years. Big Joe Egan makes the comeback after 12 years. To get mentioned in the same paragraph as George Foreman was incredible. So I won in the 5th round. And then I told Mike, Brendan Ingle was in attendance. He said, you looked okay, Joe. A bit slow, a bit rusty. But 12 years out, you're expected to be slow and rusty. My old trainer, Tony Mann, he done my corner. Patrick Norton done my corner. Paul Norton, his brother, was in the opposite corner. And I fought Mark Williams, good fighter. He'd come off 2 good wins. And we had a good fight.
In the 5th?
It was an unfortunate win, but it was a win. First 2 rounds, he was too fast moving. I was a little bit too rusty. And he was catching me with all sorts of punches. I come back to my corner after the 2nd round. Tony Mann, because I wasn't being hit enough, give me a slap. Wake up! He's peppering you with punches. So I've gone out for round 3. I've got into the fight in round 3. Got into the fight in round 4. At the end of round 4, I've turned him to push him along the ropes to keep him in the corner. Because I don't want him sliding around the ropes. He's hitting me too fast.
Too quick.
And as I pushed him into the corner, his arm dislocated. He still came out for round 5. Round 5.
Still fought
his arm hanging. No, he came out. He admired a man's courage. But it's hard enough to fight with 2 hands.
Exactly.
Anyway, he was stopped in round 5 with a dislocated shoulder. It wasn't the best way to win.
No,
it was probably even at that stage. 2 rounds each.
It was
2 rounds
close.
each. It was. He won the first 2 rounds. I won the second. I won the second 2. He won round 1 and 2. I won 3 and 4. We're now in round 5. But he stopped the round 5.
Then,
so I took the victory.
Good.
It wasn't the best victory, but I took it. Anyway, sparring then with my best friends, one of my best friends, Steve Dawson, to prepare for a comeback 2nd fight on Mike Tyson's undercard. And little Tristan, his son, we're going out the door. We sparred many, many times over the years. He said, where are you going, Big Joe? I said, I'm going to spar with your daddy, Tristan. He said, who's the toughest? I said, your daddy's the toughest man on the planet. Went to the gym, sparred, ducked into a punch, wasn't a great punch, had headgear on, big gloves, and he caught my bone of the eye, and he ripped my eye open, and I felt the blood running down my face, and I just knew then it's over.
Did you?
I knew, Craig, it's over. I'm 38 years of age.
How old are you then, 38?
38, yeah.
Okay,
I knew it was over. My skin's been too badly damaged over the years with cuts, old wounds, scar tissue, and I knew it was over. But at least I retired on a win.
Yeah,
I went
which
to
is
the
nice,
hospital.
yeah.
I got
And you were brave enough to go back as well after that
I
kind
got
of low
stitched
report.
up. I got stitched up. Went back to Steve's house, all
Yeah.
full of stitches. Tristan's looking at my eye. Oh, Big Joe, what happened to your eye? I said, your daddy come when we were sparring, Tristan. Oh, you said he was the toughest man on the planet, like insult to injury.
Yes.
But now, after 20 years out of the ring, it's come about with Joe Fury.
It has. So I was going to ask about that.
Oh, listen.
So
I'm telling you now, Craig.
for the last 3 months,
I
I've
am
been
telling
watching.
you now.
Yeah.
I have not cycled a bike on the streets for 20 years.
Yeah.
But I know I could go out and cycle a bike on the street. I'm not going to win Tour de France.
Yeah.
Right? I haven't been in a boxing ring for 20 years, but I know my way around the boxing ring.
Of course.
So does Joe Fury.
Yeah.
Neither of us were any good. We're both tough, right? Two donkeys make a good race.
Yeah.
So me and him are two donkeys. Yeah, listen, he's not a racehorse, and I'm not a racehorse.
Yeah,
We're two
get that,
donkeys.
yeah.
Do you understand? And we will fight. He got hit by one heavyweight champion of the world and was knocked out, Henry Ecker, one day. I was hit by 4 and not knocked out. So I believe that my chin is better than his.
Stronger than his, yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
We're too old to be dancing around. We'll stand in the centre of the ring and we'll punch each other until one of us falls.
So where's it at the moment?
What it's come about to this is I thought Joe Fury was my friend.
Yeah.
I've known him a long, long time. I've watched Tyson growing up. I know his brother Peter, my friend. I know Tommy. I know Huey. I know the travelling community, as I said. My mum's people are horse people. I know his family, the Gormans. I know the Dohertys, you know. And I thought he was my friend. He was at a movie premiere of a movie called Prize Fighter in Cannes. I couldn't go, I was working. And there was Ray Winston in attendance and Matt Pearce, whose father Dave was the ex-British heavyweight champion. And Russell Crowe. And Russell Crowe said to Joe Fury, he said, oh, there's another boxer in the film called Joe Egan, you might know him. And he looked at Russell, he said, I know Joe Egan. He said, Joe Egan's a fraud. Joe Egan's a fake hard man. I've never claimed to be a hard man. I pride myself on my manners. And the only fake thing about me, Craig, I joke, is my tan. Right? And for him to say that, he's supposed to be my friend. But he doesn't let Tyson have any glory, and he doesn't let Tommy have any glory. So why is he going to let me have any glory? So when I was told this by Ray Winston and Matt Pearce, I went, I'll see Joe Fury in my own time and ask him what did he mean by that statement. Because, like I said, I don't claim to be a hard man. I've been battered by hard men. Well battered by hard men. I'm a proud man.
Yeah.
And I was upset and hurt.
Yeah.
So now he's on this platform on the stage, the world stage. His son's heavyweight champion of the world, and he's shouting and screaming. He's the hardest 58-year-old man on the planet. I'll fight any 58-year-old man that's brave enough to climb into the ring with me. So I said, okay, I've got a grievance with you. I've got a personal.
I'll take that offer up.
I've got a personal grudge with you. So why not take out the personal grudge in the boxing ring and get paid for boxing him?
Professional way to do it. Yeah.
So I said, I'll have a bit of that. So I stepped up to the mark. So then he's saying I'm not worthy to be in the ring with him. Them or they, he's calling me. And I'm saying to myself, them or they? I've earned the right to be called by my own name in the boxing circles. Do you understand?
And he knows that.
I've served my apprenticeship as an amateur, winning 7 Irish titles, winning a bronze medal in the Acropolis Games, you know, fighting all over the world. I didn't do good as a pro. I was a very poor pro. But so was he. Do you understand? He's nothing exceptional as a pro. But he's a courageous man that climbs into the boxing ring. Same as I'm a courageous man that climbs into the boxing ring. Same as anybody that climbs onto the mat, climbs into the ring, climbs into the cage to fight. That's something you're born with. You're born with courage. You can teach people skills to fight. But if they haven't got the courage to fight, they go and play football, they go and play golf, they go and play basketball, they go and play tennis. You don't play fighting. So whether it be Muay Thai, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, karate, any form of fighting, I admire fighters. And he should have respected me as a fighter. And he's calling me them or they. So I stood up and I said, I've earned the right to be called my own name by another fighter. I might be a them or a they to people that don't know me in the fight world.
He's known you personally as well.
Right? So I'm taking this very, very personal now. So I said, right, I want this to happen so bad. So then I get a meeting. I get called to meet with KSI and Mams from Misfits, who have done business with Tommy Fury. And have obviously done business with John, because Tommy had a couple of fights for Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, and then suddenly he's boxing Jake Paul and he's boxing KSI and earning millions of pounds. Fair play to him. I really like the young man. I think he's fantastic. So these have now said, well, we're prepared to do a contract and we're prepared to put down a very substantial amount of money into the millions. Yeah. And I'm like, wow. It's not for me. Yeah. I'm not the star. Yeah. John Fury's the star. He's the heavyweight champion of the world's daddy. He's on every sort of platform, letting himself down and letting the boxing down. Yeah. Because boxing doesn't just need great fighters, it needs great ambassadors for the sport as well. John Fury's far from a great ambassador. He's a poor ambassador for the sport. But he's still a big name. So they're offering this substantial amount of money on the Wednesday. On the Thursday, I'm all excited. I'm training, I'm spending the money in my mind, as you do. Yeah. On the Friday, John Fury, point blank, his lawyers, no, don't want any fight with Joe Egan.
So his lawyers have officially turned it down?
He said there's no contracts drawn up, which was lies. Misfits have got contracts drawn up. They've said the amount of money. They've tried to negotiate with his legal people, and they say no. You fight Carl Froch, who was an incredible super middleweight champion of the world, or I'll fight Mike Tyson. I won't fight Joe Egan. No, to a point blank. He begrudges me earning the money, and I'm thinking, why would you do that? You know. But what I believe that if he thought he could beat me, he would take it
anyway as an easy payday.
Yeah, he would take the fight. But we all believed that we could beat. When I boxed Lennox Lewis, in my mind I thought I can beat this man, but he'd have to have a really, really bad day. He'd have to be.
You went the distance with him, no?
I went 3 rounds of amateur with him, but he was number 2 in the world. He got the bronze in '84. He got the gold in '88. He was Pan American Games gold medalist, and he knocked out a man. Knocked out a man to beat me. I'd lost in the New York City Golden Gloves. I won the New York State Golden Gloves. The man that beat me, Sinclair Babb, got knocked out by Alfred Slimp, who went on to win the American title. He got knocked out then by Lennox Lewis in the full international versus America versus Canada. So he knocked out a man that knocked out a man to beat me, but I didn't get knocked out, you know. So I want Joe Fury to take this fight. I want him to take the fight for 2 reasons, right? One, it gives me an opportunity to punch the man. Yeah. Right? He will punch me, of course he'll punch me as well. Yeah. It's part and parcel of the sport. But the second reason is that I can earn a lot of money with him. And at 58 years of age, I've got a good job. I work for 2 good men. I work for Ali, who's a diamond dealer in Birmingham. He has Lois Bullion and Britannia Jewellery. And I work for an Irishman called John O'Connor as well, Civils. They're both very kind to me. Yeah. You know, I do security for them, and they give me the safety net of a good
wage.
You know, good wage. I've got a company car, fuel card, and they're both very, very kind to me. Yeah. And at this stage of my life, to have kindness shown to me, I've had kindness at different stages of my life. Yeah. But at this stage of my life, to work for such good men, I'm very privileged and blessed. Nice, and this would be an opportunity to bank a lot of money. Yeah. And also get something out of my system.
Good security for the rest of your life.
Also get something, like I said, I don't drink or smoke or take drugs or gamble. So I work hard. I've got a few more years left of working. I'm not digging holes, I'm only doing security. I was never much good on a shovel, Craig. I was never much good on a shovel. I remember when I was on the shovel one time, I was a kid, I was on the shovel. And the boss came over to me, was digging a hole. Yeah. And he said to me, Joe, put the shovel down. So I put the shovel down. He said, now, Joe, jump into the hole. So I jumped into the hole. He said, now, Joe, jump out of the hole. So I jumped out of the hole. He said, now, Joe, jump into the hole again. So I jumped into the hole again. He said, now, Joe, jump out of the hole. So I jumped out of the hole. And I said to the boss, what have you got me jumping in and out of the hole for? He said, Joe, you're taking more dirt out on the sole of your boots than you were on the shovel.
With the shovel in your hand.
No, I wasn't much good on the shovel. But no, it beats digging holes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Where does it stand now with John? Because I know I've seen one video where he declined the professional boxing match or an official, boxing match, and you said you'd do it bare knuckle.
I've had bare knuckle fights. I've had many bare knuckle fights over the years. It wouldn't bother me if it was on the cobbles.
But there's no business
or in the boxing
sense in that.
Oh no, that's in his barn.
Okay.
Oh, that's where he wants to go into the barn.
Yeah. And has he requested that or you?
he was saying, step into their barn and fight me in the barn. And I said, I'll be walking out of that barn. Right, I will be walking out of that barn. But I won't be walking out of the barn with a substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
I'd rather walk out of the boxing ring.
Yeah.
Best man win on the night. With a substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be afraid of John Fury on the street. Or in his barn or in the boxing ring. Yeah. But if I'm going to exchange blows with a man, I want to be well paid for
money
it.
out of it, you
understand?
Business sense.
That's what he says. Business sense.
Yeah, it's got
There's
to
no
be good
business sense going into a barn behind closed doors. No. Do you understand? No. But
it's got to be televised. It's got to be put out
I've
on the internet.
To Joe Brown.
Needs a good promoter behind it, doesn't it?
I've spoken to Joe Brown, who has the bare knuckle organisation. He's just merged with the Americans, and they're prepared to put it on bare knuckle and put a substantial amount of money. Okay. Misfits have offered a substantial amount of money for the boxing ring, and there's one VSP.com, a video sharing platform company, and they've talked about it, and I think they will come forward now. And I think so, because they have got hedge funders, they've got a lot of money behind them, they've got some major investors in the company. It's an incredible concept that they've got, and they believe that if the fight happens, that they could share it, stream it around the world. I don't understand this internet. You understand? It's an incredible thing.
People can pay to view
it,
can't
incredible
watch
thing.
It live.
I'm old school, Craig, smoke signals and pigeon post. But this internet has opened up the world to people to view things. You know, yes, there's good and bad in everything that happens in life, but I believe there's more good to it than bad, because people can share information, share stories, show sporting events, show a lot of things. And this video sharing platform, onevsp.com, they're going to open up a whole new window as well. Like Rumble, like YouTube, they will be up there. Fantastic. And I had a meeting with them, and they're prepared. They're going to draw up a contract. So John said first he wouldn't fight me because of his dispute with KSI.
Dispute with KSI for a couple $100 grand.
Now, whatever the dispute with KSI is, it's neither here nor there. But when they said about the money, I said, well, listen, out of my wages, you can take the first £200,000 that you feel you're owed from KSI, take it out of my wages.
Give him no excuses to not sign a contract.
That was that. So it still wasn't signed. So now there's the bare knuckle organisation. They're going to draw up a contract very soon. Joe Brown. Spoken to him about it. I said, get that on. Mo from onevsp.com. They're going to draw up a contract. Let's get that on. So there's going to be contracts with companies that he has no history with, companies that he's got no problems with. So I don't see why he won't fight. All right, he doesn't need the money. He's a wealthy man. Do you understand? But surely our pride, his own two sons. Shane has said, step up to the mark, Dad.
Comes from a fighting background,
Tyson had said, be careful what you wish for, Dad. Do you understand? He's the one that's called it on. I've only reacted and responded to his challenge. I'll fight any 58-year-old man on the planet.
That's what he said.
But John, fight me. Do you understand? Fight me. On the cobbles or in the ring. But like I said, I want the money for it. I have a personal issue with John. But there's no reason for us to come to blows over this personal issue. I want to tell him off. He shouldn't have said what he said. But if we're going to come to blows, I want to be paid for it. Do you understand? I do believe.
I wonder if does Tyson feel awkward in this?
No, Tyson doesn't feel awkward in it at all.
It's his father, you know, and you're friends with him.
I messaged Tyson before his fight with Usyk, and I do believe Tyson will win the rematch if he gets fit. He's the supreme fighter. Take nothing away from Usyk. Usyk is incredible as well, but so is Tyson Fury. He's an incredible, but he's got to prepare properly for the rematch. Do you understand? He's got to get his dad away from the camp, and he's got to get his dad away from the corner, because his dad is ruining his head with his heart. It's his son and he loves him, but he's not giving him the best advice. My dad believed I could be champion of the world because he was my dad, and he believed that. Do you understand? And the pride that it takes in that son. But John shouldn't be in the camp and getting into the head of Tyson. But with the message I sent to Tyson before the fight with Usyk, I wished him good luck. I sent him a message, I said, good luck, Tyson. I don't have any issues with Tyson. I think he's an incredible champion, an incredible human being. And I said to him, my issues aren't with you, your Uncle Peter, your cousin Huey, your brother Tommy. My issues are with your dad.
Just with your dad,
right? Tyson messaged back, even the fight with Usyk, he took the time to message back, which is incredible. And he messaged back, he said, Joe, he's thanked me for his for my well wishes. And he said, I know your issues aren't with my family. your issues with my dad, and I hope you resolved them, which was a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, very nice.
And I believe that if me and John do exchange punches and the best man wins, I'm hoping it's me, I'm sure he'd be hoping it's him, that after it's all over, like what happens in fights, people that don't understand the boxing, don't understand the cage fighting, don't understand the Muay Thai, they don't understand how people can exchange punches and kicks. And then embrace
after it,
embrace,
respect one another.
That's right. So I'm hoping when the fight's over, win, lose or draw,
it'll get to.
that I will shake hands with John, he'll shake hands with me, and we'll forget bygones be bygones. But I want this fight, right?
Where are you in preparation for it now, mentally or physically?
I'm only taking over, Craig, because I'm 58 now, right? I've got a 12-week training camp arranged with Adam Bailey out in Future Ventura. Adam's trained several world champions. And I know as you get older, it takes longer to recover in preparation, because I've seen it with athletes over the years. So I'm not doing anything too extreme at the moment. I haven't even started sparring. I haven't even started bag work. I'm doing a bit of shadow boxing. I'm doing my cross training. I'm doing my bike. I'm doing a little bit of walking.
Okay, you're getting cardio in. Like,
yes,
you know,
and I'm just ticking over.
Yeah.
But if this fight comes off, 12 weeks, John wouldn't have had a 12-week training camp. Same as I never had a 12-week training camp. He would have worked on the building site. I worked on the doors, and we would have gone to fights, never having the luxury of a 12-week training camp. So whatever's
costly,
left,
isn't it?
Whatever's left in the tank for either of us after a 12-week training camp, the best of us would come out. Whatever's left.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Sure,
And it would be.
What would it be like? 3 rounds of 3?
No, 6 rounds.
6 rounds.
6 or 8 rounds.
2 or 3 minutes.
2 minutes.
2-minute rounds. Okay.
I'd like that.
Yeah.
6 or 8 2-minute rounds.
I think
58
2-minute rounds
years
is
of age.
better. Yeah.
At 58 years of age. Do you understand? I'd like to think that I could stop him inside the distance. I'm sure if the fight comes off, he'd like to think that he could stop me inside the distance. That's the fighter's mindset.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to
get excitement to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. The world wants to see it, Craig. I cannot believe the excitement.
I know. I've been following your socials
believe it.
over these last few months, Joe, and just seeing the build-up from various podcasts, news, various different media directions, boxing fans. Carl Froch, you mentioned earlier.
Carl was incredible. I did his podcast the other day.
Yeah, I've seen bits on it, you know.
I did the True Geordie podcast. I met him at the Misfits, and the man said he'd get me on his podcast, true to his word. If a man hasn't got his word, he's got nothing. And the True Geordie brought me onto his podcast. That has opened up the floodgates.
Brilliant.
But when you've got champions of the world like Carl Froch, Tony Bellew, David Hay, Carl Frampton, these champions, even Derek Chisora commented it now the other day.
Did he? Yeah, Chisora,
you
brilliant.
know, and
And I've seen the video from Mike Tyson sending to John Fury, saying, John, you're messing around with my pal, Joe Egan.
John was upset. Tyson was upset. Excuse me. Tyson was upset that John disrespected me because that shouldn't happen in boxing circles unless you're trying to sell a fight. Then when you're trying to sell a fight or promote a fight, you've got to say different things.
It's part of the package. The deal's signed. You've got to build up the jeopardy and the sales.
At the time when John made the comments about me, there was no fight being promoted. That was just a man.
Just an insult.
Just
an insult.
Of the highest level. Yeah. Because like I said, Ray Winston and Matt Pearce were like, ooh, Russell Crowe's. And it upset me and it hurt me to think that my friend could disrespect me like that, you know.
If you could look right down that lens now, don't get scared, Jay, and give one message to John Fury, what would it be?
I've said it a few times and I say it again. I don't like calling you a coward, John Fury, because I don't believe you're a coward. You're a fighting man. Do you understand? You talk the talk, John, about being a fighting man, and you have walked the walk. So walk the walk for the fight with me and you. I didn't take kindly to what you said about me, and I don't take kindly to what I have to say about you. To call you a coward is an insult to a fighting man, and it hurts me to say that you're a coward, but you're showing traits of cowardice by not getting into the ring to fight me. I'm asking you now, John, get into the ring and fight me so that we can have our say in the boxing ring, and the best man will win. I'm hoping that it's me, but give me that opportunity to fight you, John. We've done the talking, now let's do the walking. I want this fight, Craig.
I know you do.
I want this fight so bad.
Feel it.
I want this fight so bad. And like I say, the world wants to see this fight. It's incredible. I know he's the heavyweight champion of the world's daddy, but he's upset So many people, and even his conduct out in Saudi when he headbutted that young Ukrainian.
I know, that young
How
kid.
disgraceful was that?
He wasn't even showing any form of aggression.
All
or
the boy
attacking
was
him.
doing was cheering for his fighter.
Just like everyone else in the room was cheering.
Like the fans of Tyson were screaming
Shocking
Tyson.
behaviour, yeah. Shocking
Disgraceful.
behaviour. Yeah.
And the world wants to see manners put on John Fury. And I'd like to think that I'm the man that can put manners on him in a boxing ring.
Damn right.
Worst come to the worst, on the cobbles. But one way or another, I want the opportunity to put manners on him.
Good. And it'll happen. I believe it's going to happen.
Has to happen.
Got to happen.
The Saudis now have had their belly full of him with his conduct.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And the world, the boxing world in particular, has had their belly full of him with his conduct. People are turning on him. They love his son.
Yeah,
They're turning on him because the amount of support that's been shown to me, and like I said, I'm nobody special. I was a sparring partner, a glorified punch bag to Mike Tyson. People say to me, Joe, you're milking it. I've earned the right to milk it.
Yeah, damn right.
I've earned the right to milk it. Yeah. I got battered by Mike Tyson for 2 years, and I'm milking it.
Even if Mike Tyson jabbed me once, I'd tell everybody about it.
Craig, I will milk it to my last breath. I'll be on the life support machine, coming to my last breath, and I'll be saying to the doctors before the heart stops.
Yeah.
I was Mike
I'm going to tell you about this story.
Yes. Right.
Just one note then on Mike Tyson. He's got a big fight coming up, of course, with Jake Paul. Right. Obviously famous as a YouTuber and has done well in his fights with Tommy Fury, etc. Where do you think that is going to go? It's happening.
I think it's great. People are saying to me, Joe, do you think it's bringing the sport down? Not a chance, right? Because the YouTubers have opened up a whole new fan base to boxing, Craig, right? You've got hundreds of millions of fans watching their YouTube heroes that might not necessarily watch the sport of boxing.
That's right.
Right? I do say it with Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was probably not just the greatest man to enter a boxing ring, but probably one of the greatest men to enter the world. Boxing was privileged to have him, blessed to have him. He could have turned his hand to American football, baseball, basketball, but he turned his hand to boxing and became GOAT, greatest of all time. Yeah. So it's the same now with these YouTubers. These are opening up a whole new audience. And to me, it can only benefit the sport, because if you've got 100 million YouTubers watching their hero box, and 1 million of them YouTubers decide, I like this sport. Yeah. That's 1 million new fans that boxing has gained. Yeah. When Freddie Flintoff boxed, he brought in tens of millions of cricket fans to watch him box. Yeah. And he got front page news. And he gave a good account of himself. He beat an American that had 2 pro fights, and he gave a good account of himself. And I thought, well, that's fantastic, because now some of these cricket fans are going to convert to another sport that they saw in boxing. Yeah. And boxing benefits. And the more fans that watch the fights, that means that the audience is bigger. That means that the fighters
revenue in the industry for it.
Can advertise on their dressing gowns, on their sleeves, on their shorts. Some of these fighters are walking to the ring now in their tracksuits and the hats and the dressing gowns, and they've got logo after logo, all
endorsements all over them.
Brilliant, because they know that their sponsors are going to get.
Yeah. And they're making money for a very hard discipline of getting in the ring.
It's the hardest earned money in the world.
So how do you think it's going to pan out then with Tyson and
Jake
Paul?
To me, it's only going to be a sparring session, right? Okay. Because when Mike fought Roy Jones Jr., Jake Paul boxed on the undercard, and he had the privilege to box on a Mike Tyson bill, a fighter that was 20 years before Jake was even on the planet. Yeah. Do you understand? And is still generating the excitement that he's generating. Mike Tyson, incredible. 20 years, 25 years past his prime, he's still generating tens, hundreds of millions of pounds in revenue. And I think it's great, right? So Jake Paul boxed on the undercard of Roy Jones. Mike hit Roy Jones with a body shot, hurt Roy Jones, and then carried Roy Jones. Roy Jones was a 4-time champion of the world. I never believed that Mike Tyson could pull his punches, and he pulled them with Jake, and it was incredible to see. He didn't want to hurt the man anymore than he hurt him with the body shot. Jake Paul has probably played Mike on Nintendo, probably beaten Mike on Nintendo and Game Boy many, many times. But now Jake Paul is climbing into the ring with the hardest punching heavyweight of his era, the best punching heavyweight of all, not all time, but definitely one of the greatest punchers. And I got to admire Jake's courage It takes a lot of courage to walk to that ring to box. And to walk to that ring and fight. The whole world's
watching as well.
To walk to that ring and fight. Mike Tyson is an incredible feat of courage.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe that Mike is going to go full force on him.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I believe. There's only my belief. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. Mike might go out and take out Jake Paul in the first round. I done a video. I said to Jake, I said, please listen to me. I said, don't try and turn it on with Mike Tyson. I said, enjoy the moment, go through the motions of a boxing.
And try and put a show on for everyone for the duration.
Right? But don't try and turn it on because Mike will turn you off with one punch. Mike can turn you off. He's turned off great heavyweight champions of the world with one punch. Yes, he's 57, going on 58. I don't know what date the fight is. Mike will be 58 on the 30th of June. I don't know what date the fight is.
I think it's July, so he'll be
58. Right? But what Mike would have lost at 58 is his speed to deliver the power punch.
Yeah.
But he won't have lost the power.
And George
Foreman showed that when he fought Michael Moorer. George was 45 years of age. Michael Moorer was dancing around the ring using his speed and his prowess. He slowed down in round 10 and George Foreman connected with the power punch.
The power he had.
Put him asleep. Now Mike Tyson will carry that power into the ring. He might not carry the speed to deliver that power, but he will connect with a punch. And if Jake Paul...
And surely Jake Paul can't be conditioned to them type of blows, whoever he's sparring with.
Listen, he will never have been hit in any sparring session like a power of Mike Tyson.
No.
Never. Because he is recognised as one of the hardest punchers of all time. Ernie Shavers, I think, holds the title as the hardest puncher heavyweight of all time. But Mike's up there. Right? So Jake Paul will not be sparring with anybody with the punch power of Mike Tyson. Because in preparation...
I think he's in trouble.
Well, the thing is, if he gets into the ring and goes through the motion of a sparring session, and his YouTube fans see him share the ring with one of the greatest heavyweights of all times, that would be an incredible achievement. One of the best British champions that went on to be the first boxer inducted into the British World Boxing Hall of Fame. Oh God, his name, a very, very personal friend of mine. I've gone blank again, Craig. John H. Stracey.
I know John H. Stracey.
Well, John
come to sing at my 40th birthday party.
John,
He's a great singer.
Was the first British boxer that was put into the World Boxing Hall of Fame. An incredible champion. And one of the nicest guys in the sport.
He is, isn't he? Yeah.
Him and his wife Kathy, they attend many events. He's a beautiful singer and he's a beautiful person. But he tells an incredible story. I got the honour of sharing a table in London. It was hosted by John H. Stracey and it was a tribute to Muhammad Ali. And it was opponents of Muhammad Ali. There was Ernie Terrell, Ernie Shavers, Brian London, Sir Henry Cooper, who else was in attendance? Men that had fought Muhammad Ali, Jimmy Ellis, George Chuvallo, all these legends that had boxed and shared the ring with, to me, like I said, the greatest of all time. I'm the biggest fan of Muhammad Ali and I was honoured to be on this top table. And John H. Stracey was comparing the events. And he told a story and you could see the fighters in awe of this story because they knew the man was speaking from the heart, right? And he said, I got to share the ring with Muhammad Ali. And they were all sort of looking. He said, we went to Vegas, me, John Conte and Joe Bogner.
John Conte,
he said it was the British invasion. And he said, I'm on the British invasion. As the champion of the world, John Conte and Joe Bogner. And he said, I'm in the ring sparring or training, shadowboxing. And he said, I'm in the ring this particular day in Vegas, shadowboxing, in preparation for my upcoming fight. He said, and suddenly, he said, as I'm moving around the ring, Muhammad Ali was in the ring, shadowboxing as well.
And so it was only shadowboxing. I'm thinking their weight difference. No. How would he be in the ring with him?
We were all in awe of John H. Stracey telling this story. He said, I shared a ring with Muhammad Ali. And as it turned out, it was in Vegas in preparation for his fight. He was shadowboxing in the ring.
Amazing,
And he said, I'm suddenly in the ring.
A presence being alongside him when he's warming up or shadowboxing.
And this was a great world champion. A great world champion. John H. Stracey, an incredible world champion. The first British boxer put into the Boxing Hall of Fame, saying...
Because that was, you're talking the 60s, are
you?
He
was saying...
70s.
He was saying, what an honour and a privilege as a champion of the world to share a ring session, shadow boxing with Muhammad Ali. So imagine how Jake Paul will feel. Sharing the ring.
He can't really lose, can he, in a way? Because he may lose the fight.
He's on a win-win.
But you're still a winner to be able to
He's on a win-win.
Fight Tyson for, will it be 3 or 6 rounds?
Oh no, it'd be 6 or 8 rounds.
6 or 8 rounds, okay, wow.
But he taken from what John H. Tracy said, would have the feeling of sharing the ring with one of the great heavyweights. You know, and
the probably
Mike Tyson,
greatest heavyweight in the world.
John H. Tracy was, I could see the way he spoke that day, all the top table, and you could see the pride and the joy. I shared the ring with Muhammad Ali in a shadow boxing session. But he shared,
not many people could say, I shared the ring with Muhammad Ali and didn't even get hit.
I think John said it. He said on the day,
because he's a bit of a joker. I've seen him compare him before.
I think he was said on the day. He said I probably wanted him to hit me because I got punched by Muhammad Ali, you know. But an incredible boxer, John H. an incredible human being, and one of the best ambassadors.
Of course,
one of the best, and the first boxer to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. You know, and like you say, he's your friend and he's my friend. You know, he's a great guy. And he looks great as well. Yes, he still kept himself in great shape. Like, You know?
As I say, I met him on one of the events, a charity event, and knew about his boxing background, but then didn't realise he was singing that night. Beautiful singer. I got chatting with him and a couple of times, sat at the table with him, and then I invited him down to come and sing at my 40th birthday as well.
He attended one of my book signings. He attended one of my book signings in Manchester. I did a book signing in... the book.
Talking a book.
Yeah, talking a book. No, thank you. He attended a book signing in Manchester. Him and his wife Kathy came along, and I was very, very humbled and honoured that he was there. When Mike launched the book in Canary Wharf, there were several world champions in attendance. Thousands and thousands and thousands.
So I remember first meeting you, again, 20 odd years ago, we mentioned earlier, you know, and you gave me your book then, didn't you? Was it this one or was it a different one?
No, it's the same book, different cover.
Different cover, isn't it? That's right, a different cover. And you
the books are sold very well. And it done very well for me. And they were launched, Mike Tyson launched it in Canary Wharf 2005. Thousands of people in attendance. I know everybody was there for Mike Tyson. Mike was there for me, and it was a very, very wonderful day. Then they re-released
the book. You felt so proud that day, I'll bet,
Proud as punch. And then they re-released it the following year with 2 new chapters. And then years on, it's been re-released again.
And there has been a DVD as well.
The DVD's done well.
Some of that footage.
And now I've signed the rights for the book to be a film. There's a lot of interest in the script.
So they are going to be making a film about
this,
crossed, because you've been in dozens of movies now,
I've done over 60 movies now. I've done over 60.
60?
I've worked over 60 films. I've worked with 4 Academy Award winners. I've been very, very fortunate. I'm not a great actor, but listen, to play the tough guy, the gangster, I have to live the life of a tough guy, Craig, you know. And,
you look the part for it, don't you? That's for sure.
That's what it's all about. It's all about believability. And I've had to live the life of a tough guy, standing on doors, boxing. You know, I've had to live.
Well, that was it in some of the movies I've seen, you know, like Sherlock Holmes, to mention one, but other ones as well, where I've seen you having battles in there. You're having to hold back a little bit and sometimes let the smaller man win.
It's all in the script. It's all in the script, you know. They're the stars of the show. Like even the first Sherlock Holmes film, I was to play McMurdo, I was to fight Robert Downey Jr. And I went along to the read-through. My nameplate, Joe Egan, next to Jude Law, Robert Downey Jr., Rachel McAdams, who won and got the Academy Award for Southpaw. Stood up, said, Joel Silver, the CEO of Warner Brothers, and Guy Ritchie. And Guy said, Joe, I've been trying to get you in one of my films for a long time. I said, you're joking. And Robert Downey Jr. in, and he said, Joe, you come with a fearsome reputation. I can't believe these people even knew me, Craig. When we travelled down in the minibus to do the practice fight, Guy asked, he said, how's things going, Joe? I said, things are okay, Guy, I'm making ends meet. He said, has your agent told you what you get for the fight scene? I said, Guy, I never even asked. I'm just honoured to be in your film. When he told me, Craig, how much I was getting, more than I got in any of my professional fights, and I was deadly serious.
Really? You've been paid more for the on-screen fight in a movie,
Unbelievable the amount of money they were paying. And I looked at Guy and I was deadly serious. I said, Guy, for that money, I said, Robert Downey Jr. can really hit me. You can kick me as well if you want to. And he took me for the laughing. He said, Joe, I don't want you to be beaten up. I said, Guy, I've been beaten up for a lot less. I had a few weeks in hospital for that money. And then as it turned out, I didn't have to get beaten up in the prison scene, in the fight scene. I got into the prison scene where Robert Downey Jr. calls me by my own name, calls me Big Joe.
I believe so, yes.
Calls me Big Joe.
What an honour.
In a Warner Brothers movie directed by Guy Ritchie. And it made my mum so proud. Because no mother wants to see her son being beaten up. And then the last film I did, Prize Fighter, I got called Joe by Russell Crowe. By 2 Academy Award winners, I got called my own name.
Amazing.
I get killed and beaten up in the films regularly. You know? 2 films I get killed twice in. People say, how can you get killed twice? I said, I get killed as a human being turned into a vampire, killed as a vampire. I get killed as a human being turned into a werewolf, and I get killed as a werewolf. But it's all on screen. Yeah. You know, and it's all good fun.
So finally, what's next then for Big Joe? Hopefully this fight coming off with John Fury.
Yeah,
that's the first main target is set on that.
Hopefully this fight coming off now with John Fury. There's a lot of other doors starting to open with this whole new following that I've got, this YouTube following. Yes, there's a whole lot of new doors opening, and I'm enjoying my life.
You're getting big now on all social media, aren't you? Your Instagram, TikTok, everything.
It's gone crazy. It's all crazy, but I'm making a lot of jokes about the fight. But I'm very serious.
You want it to happen, don't you? I know that, yeah.
Because by nature, I'm not an insulting person. I pride myself on my manners, you know. Yeah. But I want this fight to happen because win, lose or draw, there'll be a lot of money involved. It'll get something out of my system because he has riled me. John Fury has riled me. It'll get something out of my system. Even if I only land one punch on him, it'll be a punch with bad intentions. Yeah. You know, and I'll try my best to knock him out. I was never a big puncher, but I'm hoping that I can stop him. Yeah. I'm hoping that I can win. But I want this fight to happen. If that doesn't happen, then so be it. It doesn't happen. There's a lot of other things going to happen in my life. I'm enjoying the acting. I'll let it go for a while because 2022 was a bad year. I lost both my parents in 2022. My dad passed.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
My dad passed on the 24th of April on his 85th birthday. My mum passed on the 28th of December. So 2022 was a written off year and 2023 was a written off year. Yeah. I'm only coming back to myself now, Craig. You know, John Fury has lit a fire in my belly with his insults. And he's given me a bit of the kick in the ass that I needed to realise, you know, get yourself together. Yeah. Life goes on. Yeah, I've lost both my parents, and it knocked the wind out of my sails.
I mean, I got to meet your parents, didn't I?
Oh, they loved
15 odd years ago, 20 odd years ago. You took me to meet your family, you know.
You visited Dublin, you know, with me, and I was very, very proud, Craig. You know, very proud to say you're my friend. Oh, bless you. You're a good guy. You really are.
Well, Joe, this has been an absolute pleasure talking to you on our podcast. I could talk to you all day, night long. Hopefully you'll come back again and join us in the near future, you know, and hearing your stories here, you know, I can honestly say hand on heart, I've been to many events with you, whether it's boxing dues, charity dues, sports things, whatever. You always conduct yourself as a true gentleman, you know, and everyone around you talk about you in that way, and I can really feel the sense of anger that John Fury has sparked off in you, you know, more than what I've ever seen before. So I hope you get what you want.
So do I. You shouldn't have said about me like that, Craig. Thank you very much.
John,
thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking it.
Big Joe Egan, ladies and gentlemen. What a fantastic guest it has been. I'm totally honoured.